Good morning. Welcome to recap of day 3 in 14 days of choosing to receive. So on day 3, I started my day choosing to receive by sleeping in a little bit and just relaxing into that, knowing that there was nothing that was being asked of me and that I could just nourish my body in this way and get some extra rest, which is not something that I do very often. A lot of times I feel guilty on the weekends for sleeping in and not getting up and getting things done or spending time with the kids. So it was nice to just sleep in a little bit and have no guilt following me around for that. And in fact, I did it again this morning. It was so great. So that was nice. One big thing that showed up for me yesterday was my husband wanted to get in on this with me, and he offered to give me a massage. So this really brought some of my internal dilemmas to the forefront for me, because he actually last week, or over the last couple of weeks, he's been having some problems with his sciatic nerve, and he a couple of nights had asked me to give him a massage, and I agreed. But by the time hours later that we finally decided to quit and turn in for the night, I was so exhausted that I just I didn't give him what he asked for, and I had a lot of guilt show up for that. I was feeling really bad, even though I was just tired and just didn't feel like giving him a massage. I even offered to buy him a massage, in which he had turned down. But when he offered to give me a massage, the first thing I thought about was, no. I mean, my response was no. Thank you for offering, but absolutely not. And I just told him, I feel really guilty for taking a massage from you when I never gave you one when you were asking. And in looking at that is very typical of me. I will frequently turn down gifts or favors or kindness offered to me because I feel like either I, in the past, haven't reciprocated or haven't taken care of my end of the bargain, or that something will be expected of me if I were to accept this gift. And I mean, he was even sure to say when he offered this to me, he was like, no strings attached, and although I had my reasoning for saying no, it did not feel good. It didn't feel good to say, no, I'm sorry, I can't accept this from you. And, I'm sure that for him, so I know what that feels like when you're just trying to show someone you love your love by doing something nice for them, and they choose not to accept it. So although we talked about it, it there's just a lot of stuff coming up around that. So that's definitely an area in my life that needs a little extra practice and attention from all angles. And yeah, I'm grateful for that showing up in the way that it did, and for the opportunity to do some work surrounding that. And I'm so grateful to my husband for just walking this journey with me and being so open to receiving from me. And in learning a lot of this stuff with me and just being so patient. Because it really, it really requires that. So, along with all of that, the way I see that I was choosing to receive, which just, I was in so much gratitude for this beautiful man in my life and his willingness to walk this journey with me, because it's so important. As much as we've been through over the years, relationships are difficult, and it's important to have someone that's willing to be patient and to grow with you. And I'm just so grateful that I have that in my life. So we do plan to swap massages soon, and actually, despite his protest, I have also purchased us massages that we can get together at the same time, and neither one of us have to work our tired bodies and hands for it. So hopefully he will be receptive to that, and when we're feeling up to it, we can exchange massages on our own at home as well. So now that the emotional stuff is out of the way, excuse me, I'm sorry. Another way I chose to receive yesterday, and something else that showed up for me, was my daughter Paxton. The kids have chores and a chore app that they do their chores, and they earn money and they get paid for it, and it comes straight from my bank account, right? So they get paid weekly for the chores they do during the week. And these chores rotate and things like that. So I've created this app to help them get some responsibility in just not only helping to take care of things around the house and doing their part and taking some responsibility, but also, to earn a little extra money. And of course, if you're a parent, frequently doing chores are not necessarily the kids' priority. And even though they have this app to tell them what needs to be done, I'm still reminding them a lot to do things, and it's a source of frustration for me. And somebody's calling in, I'm sorry. So this is a source of frustration for me frequently, and I am not happy with my behavior in that situation. I tend to be very reactive. So along with this 14 days of receiving, I've tried to become more aware of that and just change my responses when things come up or when they require reminders. I've just tried to be just so grateful that, that they're willing, with very little complaint, to just do the things that they're asked to do. And I act as if that's the truth. I just act as if, or to try to treat them like I would want to be treated if it were me. So I've been in gratitude a lot more over the last week or so, and when things are done, even if it takes them a little longer, even if I needed to remind them 5 or 6 times, I'm just, thank you so much. I'm so grateful to you. Thank you for doing this, and I can tell a huge difference. It was really cool because last night, Sundays, they have the day off. Like, all they do is feed the dogs. They don't have to do dishes or make the dog food and things like that. My husband and I take care of that. So last night, when she gets out of the bath, she goes and starts doing the dishes. And then she comes out and she's like, Mom, did you cook? Like, there's more dishes in there. And I was like, oh, honey, it's not your night to do the dishes. She's like, oh. She had already almost done all of them, and I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And I mean, that was so sweet of you, and that's less work that I have to do, and I really appreciate that. So thank you for being, so on top of your chores that you're doing mine for me. I love it. I mean, that was really sweet. Thank you. But you don't have to finish them. It's my job to do them tonight. So she smiled so big, and it was just, it felt really good to show appreciation for her and for noticing, her chores and her responsibilities. And I realized that that is not something that I do often enough. And I definitely want to improve in that area because it's so important. I notice that I tend to be self-critical a lot. So that, of course, comes out to everyone else as well, especially my children. So definitely not a good way of being in my world. And I don't want to continue to be so critical or judgmental or just quick to react in my daily life with them. So definitely some practice the pause moments and just breathing things in and taking the time, when I'm frustrated that I have to remind them to do things over and over, just pause and finding that gratitude for everything. Just to have a house that needs to be cleaned, to have these two precious dogs to have to clean up after, and it's been quite awakening and a bit emotional, but overall wonderful. So that was the recap of day 3. Hopefully I'll have a lot more receiving coming in today to share about in the morning. In the meantime, I hope you guys are living your lives and receiving and giving and just enjoying every moment you can. Thank you for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon.